Shalom Dammit! This is Rabbi Sol Solomon with a Rabbinical reflection for the week of April 23rd, 2016. Among the great inventions of mankind are the wheel, the lever, the polio vaccine, and the computer microchip. But let's not leave out one of my favorite all-time creations. Something so simple, yet so perfectly imperfect. Something both great and crummy. Pun intended. You take flour and water, mix them together, roll it flatter than a 10-year-old's training bra, poke the dough with tiny holes, and push it into a super hot, dry oven. After a couple of agonizing minutes, shazam! Matzah! Somehow, this flour and water combo doesn't turn into pita bread, it doesn't become olive loaf, it doesn't blossom into a Pepperidge Farm cookie, it just stays matzah, and that's good enough for me. Almost. See, you can get Streitz, or Horowitz Margaretten, or Manischewitz, and other commercial brands of matzah, and they'll get you through the Passover holiday just fine. You make matzah brai, where you dip it in egg. You can crumble it and make matzah meal pancakes, which IHOP would not be remiss in adding to their international breakfasts. Dear God, they make chocolate-covered matzah, which sounds gross, but hey, if they can do it with crickets and bumblebees, why not the bread of affliction? Chocolate-covered matzah is not to be confused, by the way, with chocolate matzah, which is just a giant chocolate bar made into the shape of matzah. In other words, 1,000 times better. Chocolate-covered matzah is to chocolate matzah as a gold-plated watch is to a Rolex. If you promise your grandchildren chocolate matzah, but you give them the chocolate-covered, don't expect them to visit you in a nursing home years later. But I digress. Matzah is a tasty, non-nutritional but sustaining food meant to remind us of the bread our ancestors ate when they hightailed it out of Egypt. 'Cause when you're leaving hasty, you ain't got time for pastry. However, my reflection today is not just about matzahs. It's about a special version of matzah, the platinum standard, if you will. And I will. When I'm conducting a Seder, or kicking back watching baseball during Chol Hamoed, I want me some Shmura Matzohs. That's the stuff. That's the bread of affection. It's the same flour and water, the same procedures. But with Shmura Matzohs, the harvested grain is guarded from the very first second it's plucked to the moment the rabbi slides it and its compadres out of the oven. Shmura Matzah is the ultimate homemade bread. No machines, no slicer cutting the edges into right angles, no opening a box where every piece looks like a ceiling tile in a suburban office. Shmuras are individually mixed, rolled, and baked, and they don't look beautiful or symmetrical. They're lumpy, they're brittle, often overcooked, and the burnt parts are all over the place. In fact, Shmura Matzahs are so ugly, they could replace Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. But oh my God, are they delicious. There's something so real and so pure about them. Everything else you get in the store is machine-pressed, die-cut, flushed with preservatives, and so far away from actual food, you're not even sure what the hell you're eating. With Shmura Matzah, you taste 3 things: flour, water, and rabbi sweat. Now, there's all sorts of hoo-ha doo-dah rules about using Shmura Matzahs. You're supposed to eat them only at the Seder and no other time, not even the rest of the holiday. I'm sorry, but at $17 a box with 6 pieces of bread in it, I'll eat it on Christmas if I want to. Also, since the matzah is utilized during the Seder ceremony, including breaking it for the afikomen, the bread has to be complete, unbroken. You think it was tough for the Jews to cross the Nile out of Egypt? Try getting a 1mm cracker from a Brooklyn factory to a Staten Island dinner table without having a few oopsies. Still, it's worth it, because Shmura Matzahs are the bomb. Yes, they're impossible to butter, and they don't actually break in half. They splinter, leaving shards of crumbs everywhere you look. But I don't care. Their deliciousness trumps all. I mean, on Passover, we have to eat raw horseradish, then we have to take yummy charoset and ruin it by mixing it with horseradish, and then for 8 days, no pizza, no pretzels, no ravioli, no Danish, no muffins, no waffles, no wafers, no hoagies, no heroes, no oatmeal, no beer. So, if I want a piece of home-cooked, unleavened bread that looks like a manhole cover but tastes like Judaism, I will seek no further than Shmura Matzohs. Flavorless, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a rabbinical reflection from Rabbi Sol Solomon, Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. A Zis and Pesach to ya.